Commander ZYX Thor stood before the Galactic Council, his crystalline form trembling with urgency. "You must listen," he pleaded, his voice resonating through the chamber. "The elders warned us. They documented everything before they transcended." Council member Vren, a gaseous being of considerable influence, rippled with what might have been laughter. "The humans? Those fragile creatures from that unremarkable blue world? Commander, they barely survived their own planetary adolescence." "That is precisely what makes them dangerous," ZYX Thor insisted, projecting holographic records into the air. Ancient texts materialized, written in the Elder script, glowing with an eerie luminescence. The Elders encountered them 15,000 years ago, when humans were still using primitive tools. Even then, they were marked as Category Omega, observe but never engage. The council chamber erupted in dismissive chatter. Humans had only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 cycles ago. Their ships were crude, their weapons laughable compared to the arsenal of the Confederation. They had just begun establishing colonies on nearby systems, fumbling through first-contact protocols like children learning to walk. "I move that we proceed with the annexation of human territories," Vren announced. "Their systems are rich in resources, and they lack the military capacity to resist." ZYX Thor's form flickered desperately. "You don't understand what the Elders saw. It isn't their technology or their weapons. It's something far more terrifying." He magnified a passage from the ancient texts: "Humans do not know when to stop. They do not accept limits. Where every other species finds equilibrium, they find only a new beginning." But the vote was cast. The Confederation fleet, comprising 10,000 warships representing 47 species, assembled at the edge of human space. It would be a simple operation, a show of overwhelming force, followed by terms of surrender. The war lasted 7 days. The Confederation expected resistance. They didn't expect adaptation. Human ships were destroyed in the first engagement, yes, but within hours, the next wave implemented countermeasures. Tactics that had dominated galactic warfare for millennia suddenly became obsolete as humans analyzed, modified, and evolved their approach with terrifying speed. When their ships proved inferior, they weaponized asteroids. When their weapons couldn't penetrate Confederation shields, they invented new physics. When outnumbered, they refused to acknowledge the mathematics of defeat. On the 6th day, a human negotiator appeared on all Confederation channels. She was young, barely past adolescence by their standards, with exhaustion carved into her features. "You can still leave," she said simply. "We don't want this war. But if you make us choose between surrender and extinction, we will choose extinction, and we'll take you with us." It wasn't a threat. It was a promise delivered with the flat certainty of physics. ZYX Thor watched from the command ship as human vessels executed a maneuver that defied every tactical doctrine. They ran their colony ships, filled with civilians, into Confederation dreadnoughts, sacrificing thousands to destroy millions. Not out of desperation, but as a calculated strategic decision. The retreat order came on the 7th day. Now, ZYX Thor stood before the council again, his form dim with trauma. Around him, the chamber was silent. Half the species representatives were missing, casualties of the brief, brutal conflict that had shattered the Confederation's illusion of supremacy. "The Elders knew," he said quietly. "They watched humanity face extinction from disease, famine, predators, climate, and their own violence. Every time, when any rational species would have accepted fate, humans simply refused. They didn't survive their harsh world because they were strong. They survived because they couldn't accept the concept of impossible." Vren, diminished and subdued, finally asked the question everyone was thinking: what did the Elder texts say we should do? ZYX Thor projected the final passage: "If humanity ever reaches the stars, hope they remain benevolent. You cannot defeat a species whose only natural predator was themselves," and they won. The council voted unanimously to offer humanity full membership and territorial sovereignty. Not out of respect or friendship, but out of the cold, primal understanding that the elders had discovered millennia ago: some forces of nature cannot be stopped, only redirected. Humanity accepted, graciously. And the galaxy quietly began to worry about what would happen when they eventually got bored with peace.